and we recognize Mr. Terry.
Thank you. And Ms. Walls, has Tri-State complied with the Clean Water Act and the Clean Air Act?
Yes.
All right. So what we're talking about here in regulations are new proposed regulations, not whether or not you've complied with the last.
That's true.
And in your testimony, you mentioned a couple. You mentioned Utilimac and fly ash. Those directly affect your ability to produce energy, correct?
Correct.
All right. Are there other, like Boiler Mac, that also impact your business?
Yes, there's a long list of other regulations.
So the issue is, despite that, that there's some overall number that's similar to the number of regulations issued from one administration to the other, your industry is dealing with multiple ones at one time, correct?
Yes.
And what happens to the additional costs that are incurred to comply with the new rules?
Those are passed directly on to the end users of electricity because we're a not-for-profit entity.
So those costs are passed on. Have you at least looked at Utilimac? Because at least with our utilities in Nebraska, they have to deal with Casper, Boiler Mac, Fly Ash, and Utilimac. The one that they think will be the most costly is Utilimac. Have you been able to determine what the cost per plant to comply with Utilimac?
It varies from plant to plant. I would say
Sure.
the most expensive rule we're facing right now is regional haze. However,
Okay.
there is a pancaking of these rules, and you really look at MACT costs you this, add on what regional haze costs, add on what the new water effluent standards cost, add on what the coal ash, add on what the boiler rule costs, and this is an increasing cost over time. Quite honestly, it forces you to look at what point will you shut that facility down.
Okay, and is that something that you're actually thinking about, that you may have to shut down a facility?
We may be, we are looking at the economics of each of these rules, and they have a potential, yes, to shut down existing
When
plants.
combined.
Correct.
Getting back to Utilimac alone, have you been able to, take any plant and say it's going to cost X millions of dollars to comply? Omaha Public Power has already said for their coal-fired plant that really is only 10 years old, that they're going to have to spend over $400 million. Have you done something similar?
We have looked at the cost to our existing plants. We're already very highly controlled at Tri-State at all of our facilities, so it's not as significant. The main issue we have is the fact that we have an air permit to build a new plant in Kansas, and this rule will stop that. You cannot get a technology company to say that, yes, we can design and build to those new standards. So essentially it will
So
stop
the
that
technology isn't even available to build to the new standards?
It is not available.
Okay, well that's certainty, isn't it? You're certain that you can't comply, therefore you don't build it.
Yes.
Okay, well good, then we've accomplished that. One last question then is the issue, do you feel, and I think we all feel that we want clean water, we want clean air. Is there a cost-benefit analysis that you feel comfortable that the investments to comply or decision to shut down will actually increase public health in your area? Have you gotten records from the Colorado Department of Health that says will show that there's been X number of cases of elevated mercury in people in an area of one of your coal-fired plants, for example?
The cost-benefit analysis that we've seen has actually, the most recent one, and the rule that was finalized today is the utility MACT rule, and that cost-benefit analysis, really it's a mercury rule, it's a hazardous air pollutant rule, and that the benefits that EPA estimates for mercury reduction is about $6 million. However, they go on to calculate and include economic benefit for reduction in particulate matter and estimate that that's, I believe the number is 90.
Okay, I'd love to